Welcome to yet another edition of the Stats and Stacks podcast, where today we're going over UFC Fight Night Thompson versus Holland. First thing first, make sure you give this video a like. Make sure you give it a follow over on Instagram, over on Twitter, over on TikTok, wherever there's social media. There is the Stats and Stacks podcast. Last week's card was all right. It is what it is, but I'm not going to waste a lot of time because we have a lot to get to. We have 15 fights on this card. In a late start, you would think that it's pretty early considering there's 15 fights, but no, it's a 7 p.m. start time, main card at 10. So it should be back-to-back action. It should be exciting. There's still time for fights to fall off, but there's enough to keep us entertained, and they're all together now. So we're going to hop right into it here. It's a pretty chalky card, but, it's a lot of prove-it spots, so it could get a little dicey along the way. So first fight of the night, we have one of my favorites, as odd as it sounds. We have Yasmin Jauregui at minus 300 going up against Estela Nunez at plus 250. Over under set at 2.5. Over 2.5 minus 210. Under 2.5 plus 170. Let's start with Yasmin because she's 9-0. It's a shiny little record. She's super young, only 23 years old, which is nuts. She also has like a 5-year-old, so that's interesting. No judgment, but she is very, very, very good striking, very high volume. Her cardio seems to check out. She counters a lot. She's a very, very good counter striker. She wants you to come into her, and she is going to go ahead and just land a lot of counters and try to put you out. She hits kind of hard. She has quite a few KOs on her record, especially for the weight class. So, at the end of the day, her takedown defense seemed fine on the regional scene. I've seen good versions of it and bad, but she's 23. She's going to constantly get better. She's in the big show real early. Her debut against Yasmin Lucindo was it was just a really, really fun fight. I think Lucindo's 20 and she's 23, so it was just two young kids going at it, and it was a joy to watch. I enjoyed every second of it. I like Yasmin a lot, and I think she's going to get even better from what we see now. Now, on the flip side, we have Estela Nunez, who is kind of the opposite. I expected a lot of big things from her. I actually thought when you watch her tape that she's very good. She, too, is a very, very good striker, throws a decent amount of volume. She's going to have a 2-inch reach advantage here. Her issue is that she seems to slow down in fights, might have a little bit of a cardio issue, and she has 41% takedown defense, which is kind of goes hand in hand with her cardio. The longer the fight goes, the easier it is to take her down. She got destroyed by Sam Hughes. The very first round against Sam Page, she went out there and looked phenomenal. She looked like a world champion. Like, she looked very, very good. Round 2, she started to slow. Round 3, Sam beat the shit out of her because she had nothing left to offer. So I think part of that is solely because Sam did nothing but constantly pressure her and wrestle her. Estella's surprisingly good striking backwards. So both of these girls like to counter. If one is more aggressive, I will say it's probably Estella. She's a very good striker. She's very crisp. Like, she is very good on the feet. Probably better than Yasmin, to be honest with you. But the cardio concerns me a ton. The wrestling concerns me a ton. Carnellosi is not a wrestler, and she went out there and took her down with ease. So I'm not a fan of that. But I think this fight is going to be a 15-minute striking battle. Yasmin doesn't wrestle, and Estella can't wrestle. So, if neither one can wrestle, it doesn't matter. Is Yasmin going to go out there and put a singlet on? I don't think so. I think she's going to go out there and she thinks she's the better striker. And is she? She could be. Is it 50-50? Absolutely. Is Estella minus 300? Or sorry, is Yasmin minus 300 and Estella plus 250? Yeah, I think I'm going to start the night with a dog shot. Shock the world. I think Estella can get it done. I like Yasmin. I will not be surprised if she wins. I'm picking her to win the fight. I think Yasmin wins the fight. But I think it's going to be extremely close. And if it's an extremely close fight, I want the 250 in my pocket. So the pick is going to be Yasmin. The bet would end up being Estella, crazy enough. You could also bet the over, but you're just eating a ton of chalk there. What is the over again? Over minus 210? Not bad, actually. Actually, that's probably the safer route. So if you want to get crazy, roll the dice, bet Estella. If you want to get more value, you can go ahead and do the over, because that's a lot better than the Yasmin minus 300 when it's going to be close. Next fight of the night is another fun one, and one that I've been going back and forth with. And at the end of the day, you just have to trust your gut. So Or sorry, you have to trust the tape. I watch these guys a million times. I watch this one very intently. We have Francis Marshall at minus 170 going up against Marcelo Rojo at plus 145. Over under set at 1.5. Over 1.5 minus 160. Under 1.5 plus 130. Let's start with Francis because he's the reason I'm tentative here. Francis has very good striking. He also is 23 years old. Unlike Yasmin, he will mix in wrestling. It's a pretty decent double leg, extremely high volume. His cardio checked out, 6-0. I mean, you can back him up a little bit, which can be concerning if you fight someone that's extremely aggressive, and he is fighting someone that's a little aggressive. So it'll be interesting to see. But I said at the top, I said it's going to be a prove it spot, and he's going to have to prove to me that he is the goods. He's 23. He looked the part on Dana White Contender Series. I always want to fade Dana White Contender Series when they're favorites. But it hasn't been working the last few times. I know it's weird. I know it's been profitable throughout the years, always fading the Dana White Contender Series favorite. But I don't know, man. It's just solely on the fact of his opponent. Like, Marcelo Rojo isn't good. I thought he was okay. In my mind, I remember him beating up Charles Jourdain for the first 2 rounds and then getting finished. Like, I remember him being good. Then I went back and I watched the fight tape and I wasn't as impressed, man. The striking's good. His loss is good. Charles Jourdain, not a bad loss. Kyler Phillips, not a bad loss. John Castaneda, not a terrible loss. Like, these aren't bad guys to lose to. Claudio Puelles, like these are UFC fighters, but he has no good wins. I mean, Enrique Silva may be his best win. I mean, I don't know any of these guys that he's beating. Is Jesse Strader truly his best win? Like, that's concerning. Like, he if he fights someone good, he gets killed. If you fight someone bad, he kills them. So what are we looking at here? What are we going to do? And watching the fight tape, god damn, this guy is hittable. You can hit this guy a ton. And even though Francis is super young and super green and he might choke out there, at least he has a punching bag standing in front of him. And you can take down Rojo, 66% takedown defense. So if Francis is struggling on the feet, he can take him down. If he's winning on the feet and he has no jitters, he can piece him up on the feet. So I do like Francis here. I also don't like that Rojo slows a little while Francis is a good gas tank. So it might be around, as my boy Clint with the Die Hard MMA podcast says, it might be a little third round sprinkle. I might have to do it, man. I don't know. I think Francis is the pick here. And god damn, I don't want to see that T-Rex celebration that Rojo does. Every time he wins, he like gets these little arms and does his T-Rex stance. I never want to see that again in my life. So the pick is going to be Francis. The bet is going to be Francis Marshall. Let's go. Next fight of the night is one of the locks. We have Nathan Levy at minus 180 going up against Genaro Valdez at plus 155. Over under set at 2.5. Over 2.5 is plus 155. Under 2.5 minus 190. I'm certain that this is getting steamed because that under is going to hit. Natan Levy he looks the part, but he's not as intimidating as he looks. His jiu-jitsu is not bad. I initially thought he was a jiu-jitsu practitioner. He's not. He's a striker. His striking's not terrible. His wrestling's not bad. He's pretty good wrestling, and his jiu-jitsu is pretty good, honestly. He doesn't have a lot of faults. The only fault he has is his goddamn cardio. This dude gasses. He has zero cardio. Even in some of his wins, he was looking a little sketchy and doing a little bit of laying and praying. Rafa Garcia was able to take advantage of that, was able to out-wrestle him in the latter rounds. I mean, all in all, he doesn't have the greatest wins on his record. So he's beating cans and he's gassing out. That's all he's doing. He fought one decent guy in Rafa Garcia and lost. Then Mike Breeden isn't the greatest on earth. He's not UFC caliber, but he'd be an okay like regional scene guy. And that was a really, really close, greasy fight because of his cardio. Also, you can back him up. And that's scary going up against Valdez because all he wants to do is go out and brawl. Valdez is not a good. At first, initially, I was thinking, well, he's not a bad striker. No, he's not a good striker. This dude's a brawler. He's extremely hittable himself, so you can pop him a ton. He throws a ton of volume because he's just a berserker coming at you. He's just wild. Literally in my notes, I have in all caps, wild. God damn, is it fun to watch, but do I want to put money on it? Hell no. Coming out of M-Tram Gym where Brandon Moreno used to train, I don't know, man. When you look at this guy's record and I tell you he's wild and high-paced, second round, first round, first round, first round, third round, and then all the rest of these are first round finishes. Like all of his wins are in the first round. He has 2 third round finishes and 1 second round finish. So how many wins does he have in total? 10. So he has 8 of them in the first round. 7 of them in the first round. And then his one loss was to Matt Frivola, who apparently also is Matt Frivola is also a brawler and apparently packs a lot more power than I remember. And that was the wildest 3 minutes I've ever seen through a fight. Those two went at it, and it only lasted 3 minutes long. Matt Frivola came out on top. So both of these guys beat cans. Both of these guys have one career loss. Can either one of them be trusted? Hell no. Was I initially just going to go with the dog because it's a sheer dogger pass? Yeah, but then I saw the under was only minus 190. That's parlay material. So I will have that under 2.5 and everything. And you know what? Look at the odds. I don't know. If it's 1.5 and you're going to give me plus money, god damn, I'm taking that all day. I don't think this fight makes it out the first round. So I can almost guarantee not out at 2. So the pick is going to be Levy, because he has more avenues. He can take him down if he wants. But the bet is going to be the under 2.5. These two are rowdy, so let's get it and let's have fun. Next fight of the night is another prove it spot. We have Amanda Ribas at minus 115 going up against Tracy Cortez at minus 105. Over under set at 2.5. Over 2.5 minus 320, under 2.5 at plus 250. The only difference between this prove it spot is that they're both proving to the UFC which one they want to push. You have one hot Brazilian against one hot Mexican. Which one is the UFC going to go with? They're both pretty comparable, to be 100% honest with you. Let's start with Ribas. Ribas is the favorite, I think, solely because of the competition. She's 11-3, but her losses were to Caitlin Chookagian by split decision on short notice up a weight class. Ballsy. There is absolutely no problem with that loss. Caitlin Chookagian is one of the best flyweights. Amanda Ribas is a strawweight. She took the fight on short notice up a weight class. But it's great that it went to a split decision. That's good for her. Verna Jandiroba is good. Verna's a very, very good fighter. Same with Marina Rodriguez. Marina Rodriguez was one win away from fighting for a title. Unfortunately, she lost her last fight to Amanda Lemos, but again, she's a top 5 girl. She took an L there, and she was winning. Honestly, she was winning the fight. Amanda's not a bad wrestler. She does the head and arm. I don't like that. That's really sketchy, an easy way to get your back taken. I'm not the biggest fan of that. But she will get you down to the ground. She's very good on the ground. She's a great jiu-jitsu practitioner. Her striking, not good. It's very weird. It's very bouncy, like karate-esque. But she has zero power whatsoever. Like, there's nothing to be scared of on the ground. Sorry, I don't know why this keeps popping up. There's nothing to be scared of on the ground with her at all. Or on the feet at all. But she's very good on the ground. She's just a little chinny. I've seen her rocked a ton. I saw Marina put her out in full. I've seen her rocked by Verna. I saw her rocked by Caitlin. She can get rocked, so might be a little chinny there, and her cardio checks out. On the flip side, you have Tracy Cortez, who also can't really strike. So the chin issue may not be a problem at all here. Tracy Cortez is a wrestler. Her whole family are MMA fighters. She's Mrs. Ortega. She's engaged to Brian Ortega, if not already married. You do have to watch the scales with her. She does get a little sketchy. She doesn't always make weight, so make sure you're paying attention to that. Her wins are all right. I mean, Melissa Gata is not a bad win. Justine Keesh isn't a bad win. Is this fight at flyweight? Oh god, I just noticed that too. That makes me like Tracy Cortez even more. Shit. Yeah, I mean, Tracy Cortez, in all honesty, she's at Fight Ready. And what are you going to do at Fight Ready? You're going to work on your wrestling. So if this is a sheer stand-up fight, I think it's 50-50. I have no idea who's winning. But so it really turns into a wrestler versus a jiu-jitsu practitioner. Can she stay safe on the ground? I think so. Most of Amanda's wins are on top with her jiu-jitsu, not off her back. So I will go ahead and probably take Tracy here. Yeah, especially because some places you still have her at even or plus 100. So if there's a plus sign next to her, it's a dog or pass. It's a sheer dog or pass. I think Amanda's probably the better fighter, but it's so goddamn close. Everything else cancels out so much that I am going to go ahead and, because of the weight class and because it's wrestler versus grappler, I'll go ahead and I'll take the wrestler. Next fight, we have Darren the Damage Elkins at plus 360 going up against Jonathan Pierce at minus 450. Over under set at 2.5. Over 2.5 plus 105. under 2.5 minus 135. Let's start with the damage. The damage is old, man. The damage should not still be fighting. He's 38 years old. He has good wrestling. Striking has never been good. Cardio's good. That's his strong suit. He's a good wrestler and has good cardio. That's what he does. Offensively. Defensively, a little bit of a liability. 56% takedown defense. So that gets a little sketchy. All in all, he's one of these guys that has had so many fights in his life. If you just flick him in the face, he starts bleeding like crazy. Even his picture here, he just bleeds, and it does not look good for the judges. It's not a good visual to have to always be bleeding around the octagon. Tristan Connolly, it's not the greatest win. Cub Swanson knocked him out. That's concerning because Darren Elkins is called the damage. He's known for his durability, and now he's 38 years old and he's starting to get knocked out. That's not good. Derek Minner was whooping his ass before he gasses out as always. Nate Landwehr beat him. Ryan Hall beat him. Volkanovski and Ricardo Lamas, those are fine losses, but Nate Landwehr and Ryan Hall, I think the damage is starting to fade a little bit, in all honesty. And looking at his wins, he doesn't even have the greatest wins as I'm going through his entire career, which seems like goes on forever. His best wins probably Michael Johnson. And Michael Johnson, we know, is the epitome of apple pie shitting. He could literally be world champion or he could literally get cut. You never know what version you're going to get. So obviously that was a get cut version of Michael Johnson. That was probably his best win. So yeah, at the end of the day, Elkins can't strike. He bleeds all over the place. All he can do is wrestle. He's fighting JSP, who also wants to wrestle. His striking, not the greatest. His striking's not that good either. But he's also, like Tracy Cortez, at my favorite camp at Fight Ready. His jiu-jitsu's fine. It's probably better than Elkins, in all honesty. He has 58% takedown defense. So it's another one of these guys that are very good at taking you down, but kind of struggle when you try to take them down. Now, a lot of that was Makwan Americani, and Makwan's a phenomenal wrestler, so I'll give him some there. And then the Christian Rodriguez fight, C-Rod took him down a few times, and he was I've never seen JSP gassed. He's usually known for having good cardio. He was gassed that night for whatever reason, and it was just a bad night for him. He got the win, but God, he looked real sketchy doing so. This cardio looked fine his next fight against McQuan, so I think that was a one-off. So in that instance, when it comes to the feet, I will say JSP is just a hair better. When it comes to wrestling, I think it's a wash. When it comes to the ground game, I think it's JSP. And when it comes to the cardio, I think it's a wash. So give me the younger guy. Give me the guy that is 30 years old, entering in his prime and not bleeding all over the place. So give me JSP. Do I want to bet JSP at minus 450? Absolutely not. Do I want to put him in a parlay? Not really. So that leaves you with the over-under. I don't know, man. This fight over with plus money does have my attention. It does. That's probably the way I would go here. I'd probably just take the over. I mean, although Elkins just got knocked out, JSP is not knocking out anyone. He's not a knockout or he's not a big power guy. So who knows? I mean, Elkins is 38. Maybe the chin is completely gone and you don't have to be a power puncher to put him out, but I don't foresee him doing that. I think this is going to be, both these guys like to wrestle. So I think this hits the over at plus money. So the pick is going to be JSP. The bet would probably be the over. Next fight of the night, we are looking at Michael Johnson, that just talked about, at plus 230, going up against Mark Diakiese at minus 275. These lines I just checked this morning are a lot higher. Last time I checked, Diakiese was like minus 330. Over under set at 2.5. Over 2.5 is minus 205. Under 2.5 at plus 165. I mean, we already kind of faintly touched on Michael Johnson, so we'll just hop in there. His striking, good. His power, insane. They say he's one of the hardest punchers when you ask his opponents. Can he slow down a little in fights? Yeah. Sometimes his cardio looks fine. Other times it doesn't. I think Michael Johnson is the best 50, 500 fighter I've ever seen in my life. He's so much better than his record shows. It's just he will shit in the apple pie. He literally will just not show up. I don't know, man. Like, you talk about people that fight to the level of their competition. It's not that. He always looks good to start, but he finds ways to lose, whether it's literally 10-8ing and almost killing a man in the octagon and Thiago Moises, and then going out there and getting submitted in the first 25 seconds of the next round with an ankle lock, whether it's beating the crap out of Clay Guida and then getting taken down constantly, whether it's dropping Jamie Malarkey, almost finishing him and then getting dropped yourself and almost getting finished, whether it's beating the crap out of almost a number one contender in Josh Emmett for literally 2.5 rounds and then getting caught with an overhand right with under a minute left and getting put out. Like, he finds ways to lose. So you can never bet Michael Johnson unless he's a dog. And he's a dog here, so he has my attention. I think it's a close fight. I think he can win this fight if he fights normal Mark Diakiese. D1 Diakiese is a different animal. Mark Diakiese is a striker. He is a British striker. He's a kickboxer. He's very good on the feet. But he almost got cut. He was on a little bit of a losing streak. He lost to Nasrat. That's not a good loss. He lost to Dan Hooker. It is what it is. He lost to Jakar Close. It is what it is. He beat Joe Duffy. He beat Lando Venata. But then he lost to Rafael Fiziev when he was a big favorite. Then he went out there and got knocked out by Rafael Alves and then choked. So it was a club and sub by Rafael Alves. Oh my God, he's about to fight Slava Claus. If he loses a third in a row, they're going to cut me. What do I do? Slava Claus has very, very low takedown defense. It's like 30%. Like, this dude can't stuff a takedown. So a la D1 Diakiese was born. He realized he's strong as shit. He's pretty low volume, so he keeps losing these decisions too. What am I going to do if I'm a good striker, but I don't throw enough? The judges don't like my style. What do? I'm going to wrestle this guy that can't wrestle. And he took Slava Claus down 8 times and realized, well, that was easy. I didn't get punched in the face. Nothing bad happened to me. Let me try it up again against Damir Hazovic. Went out there, Damir is 50% takedown defense. He's like, let me try this again. Put a singlet on, dominated Damir with another 8 takedowns, destroyed Damir on the ground. Now we have Michael Johnson, who is what? A power puncher. What is the path of least resistance? Wrestling. Michael Johnson, can he stuff a takedown? 79%. So this is an interesting fight. I think on the feet, it's very, very close. I think Johnson hits harder. I think Diakiese's more technical, but I think Diakiese throws less. So I might give Johnson the slight edge if it was just a 15-minute striking fight. But Michael Johnson can't offensively wrestle that well, and Diakiese can. So I think D1 is going to mix in wrestling. I don't think he's going to solely wrestle. I think Michael Johnson will be ready for that. I think he's going to strike a little more than we've seen the last 2 fights, and I think that's going to be good for him. I think he's going to get the job done. Do I want to bet him at minus 330 or whatever he is now? Not really, because again, you never know what you're going to get with Michael Johnson. This has pass written all over it. This might be the biggest pass in the card. However, you do have to choose something. So I'll choose Diakiese to win. The bet, if I knew they were striking, I would take the under at plus 170. But if D1 Diakiese's there, I like the over. Minus 200, though. The pick is Diakiese. Honestly, the bet would probably be Michael Johnson. Plus 230 is too big of odds, and it's growing. I think, Diakiese's at the minus 330, Johnson at plus 260. There's just getting to be too much value there. So the pick is Diakiese. The bet is Johnson. God. All right. Next fight of the night. Clay the Carpenter Guida. Someone else who's fought Michael Johnson because he's fought everyone on the roster. Plus 130 going up against Hot Sauce Scott Holtzman. Minus 150. Over under set at 2.5. Over 2.5 minus 205. Under 2.5 plus 165. Let's start with the Carpenter because it's a pretty quick breakdown. Carpenter, very good wrestling. Very good cardio. That is it. That's all he has. He is not the youngest guy on the roster. He is 40 years old. Jesus Christ. He's 40 years old. He had a little stint at featherweight, went back up to lightweight in his older age. His jiu-jitsu was not good, but he's been working on it. He's been going to a lot of jiu-jitsu competitions. He's getting better. Yes, he got tapped out in his last fight. But you do see an improvement on the ground game, mostly just staying safe. So I know Claudio caught him in a knee bar. Claudio catches everyone in knee bars, but outside of that, Clay has remained pretty safe for a while here. He didn't get tapped out in the UFC until, well, Jim Miller clubbed and subbed him, so that doesn't really count. He didn't get caught since 2018, really. We'll count Jim Miller 2019. So he went a good 3 years without getting caught. Scott Holtzman's not a jiu-jitsu guy, so none of that matters. Clay is just going to want to go down there and take him down. Scott Holtzman on the flip side, 39 years old. So Clay is finally fighting someone his age. Scott striking is not bad. It was actually better than I remember it being. Scott, I don't see a ton of. When it comes to Scott, he has good losses, man. Josh Emmett's a good loss. The two Scamrot, good loss. Beneil Dariush, great loss. Nick Lentz, good loss. Drew Dober, good loss. He's never lost to anyone bad. Everyone he's lost to is ranked. On the flip side, his wins, Dung Young Ma in the promotion. Jim Miller, just as old as he is, it is what it is. Alan Patrick, I don't know if he's still in the promotion. Daryl Horscher, no longer in the promotion. Michael McBride, no longer in the promotion. Cody Feister, no longer in the promotion. Like, he has not beaten anyone that's still in the UFC outside of Jim Miller. So he beats cans. He loses to good people. Clay Guida's not good. Clay Guida's not a can. So this is a prove it spot. Scott, beat someone decent. And you know what? I don't think he can, because one, his chin is fading. He's 39 and you're starting to see the old man chin come out. Secondly, he has 66% takedown defense and Clay is persistent. Clay's going to see that number and Clay is going to shoot for a takedown instantly. So you're coming down to Scott Holtzman takedown defense. And if you're 39, I know Clay is 40, but he's a cardio freak. He's an exception to the rule. Scott, not so much. So I think Scott probably wins the first round. And I'm probably going to live bet Clay Guida. I think Clay gets him down after a while and then just dominates him and breaks this man. So the pick is going to be Scott. The pick is going to be Clay. The bet is going to be Clay as well. Dog or pass? All right. Next fight of the night. Did I hear dog? We have the ultimate dog, Angela Overkill Hill, plus 105, going up against Emily Ducati at minus 125. Over under set at 2.5. Over 2.5, minus 205. Under 2.5, plus 165. Don't get me wrong. I like Emily Ducati a lot. I locked her in her last fight. I think she's very good. I think she's very underrated. I think she's a lot better than her 12-6 record shows. She's only 28 years old, so she's literally entering her prime right now. She has good wrestling on paper, at least. Like, she has a wrestling background. She doesn't use it a lot. She kind of does the Chuck Liddell sprawl and brawl. She uses her wrestling to keep it on the feet. Her striking's not bad. She's a little lower volume than I'd like to see. But her striking's not bad. She hits decently hard. She has very good cardio. She has really good takedown defense. She's really tough to take down. I don't know. It's just, when I see her getting backed up, she doesn't look the greatest. She's not the greatest counter striker. When she's going forward, throwing leg kicks and pressing the action, she's a lot better. Her schedule's not bad. Again, outside of the UFC, she's fought Danielle Taylor. She's fought Murata. She has fought, Catherine Peprocki from The Ultimate Fighter. She fought McFarlane. Like, she fought McFarlane twice. Like, she's fought some good people. But at the end of the day, Emily Whitmire was in the UFC for whatever reason. She's fought some decent fighters, man. I think she's very good. Angela Hill's 37 years old, but I think she's still got it. I think we talked about Michael Johnson having the best 50-50 record. A la Angela Hill. She might even have him beat, because she's good, man. She's very good. You want to talk about good losses? Verna, good loss. Amanda Lemos, good loss. Tisha Torres, good loss. Michelle Watterson, Claudia Gadelia, Jean Yanan, Randall Marcos, bad loss. Courtney Casey, bad loss. Nina Nunez, Jessica Andrade. All I see are Rose Yamanunas. Like, all I'm seeing are champions and contenders is all she's losing to, literally. On the flip side, her wins. Loopy, good win. Loopy said she was not 100%. I believe her. She didn't look normal. Ashley, not a good win. Luma, okay win. Carnellosi, okay win. So when you give her someone that's okay, Marina Moroz, she's gonna win. When you give her a world champion, she's gonna lose. What is Emily Ducati? I think she's more of the loopy Ashley Otter Luma ordeal opposed to a title challenger. Angela has good cardio, very durable, you're not going to knock this girl out. Like, you can't knock her out. Very, very high volume. Her takedown defense used to be absolute ass. It's gotten so much better. And she's fought the greater girls. She has a 2-inch reach advantage here, and she loves to move forward. Again, Emily does not look as good when she's forced to back up and counter strike. She's a good bull. She's a good hammer, bad nail. Angela is always the hammer. She just doesn't hit very hard. So I do like the over here, only sitting at minus 205, considering Angela can't hit hard, but you can't put her out. But I also like Angela as the dog, man. Plus money. Why is she the dog? She's the proven MMA entity here. I think Emily has all the potential in the world. But I think Angela is a lot to ask her for her second fight. So the pick is going to be Angela. The bet's going to be Angela. Also take a look at that over. Next fight of the night is one where I fully anticipated going in and betting the dog until I saw fight tape. Niko Price, minus 140. Philip Rowe, plus 120. Over under set at 2.5. Over 2.5, plus 135. Under 2.5, minus 165. Dude, Niko Price is weird. His very last fight, he looked absolutely terrible. That's the one that sticks in your mind. He looked like he had absolutely no cardio. Can't bet this guy going up against Cowboy, not Cerrone, Cowboy Oliveira. Fight before that, it was the complete opposite. Michelle Pereira is an absolute tank. And Michelle Pereira is the one that gassed, and Niko looked real good in the third round. So I've seen him have good cardio. I've seen him have bad cardio. It is what it is. Niko hits hard. He's the one that's going to be notorious for all of the crazy knockouts. The up kick knockout, that's not normal. The back fist knockout to Randy Brown, or the hammer fist to Randy Brown, that's not normal. He had a run of these really weird knockouts. But they're knockouts nonetheless. He has a ton of power. He carries a lot of power. Striking's not bad. He's a little hittable. Not a fan of that. And I have seen him in his last two fights mix in wrestling. I've never seen the guy wrestle before, but his last two fights, when they were close, he mixed it in and he got some takedowns. He's not the world's worst wrestler. The reason that's important is because Philip Rowe is not a good wrestler. Philip Rowe is very good on the ground, sneaky good on the ground. No one realizes how good this guy is on the ground. Trains with the black belt under Rodolfo Vieira. But he has 47% takedown defense. That's not a good look. He has good cardio, which is good. The striking, good. 4.5 reach advantage, good. He has all the tools. I still look at him and go, this isn't a bad dog. But not enough with that plus 120. 32 years old. This is the finished product. We're not going to see anything better. Although he has a 4.5 reach advantage, you have to be able to use it. And again, this is why fight tape is important. He has a reach on everybody, but he doesn't use it. He doesn't fight at range. He wants to get in close and strike with you. It's not a reach advantage if you're directly in front of them. There is no advantage. So I'm not the biggest fan there. And again, Niko Price mixing in those takedowns his last two fights. Dude, Philip Rowe is under 50% takedown defense. He can't stuff one. So I think Phil is alive. I think this is going to be greasy. But I think the winner is going to be Niko. I'm going to pick Niko, and I'm going to end up betting Niko just solely on the fact of minus 140 is not a bad price. And I don't want to trust that over under. All right, next fight of the night, we have your boy Eric Anders at plus 170 going up against Kyle Dawkins at minus 200. Over under set at 2.5. Over 2.5 minus 175. Under 2.5 plus 140. Dude, these Philly boys are struggling right now. We just saw Sean Brady lose his first fight. We just saw Pat Sabatini lose for the first time in the octagon. And honestly, before that, to kick off the bad luck, we saw the Dawkins brothers. Dawkins got knocked out by Roman Dolidze, and his older brother got knocked out back-to-back by Curtis Blades and Derek Lewis. So, Philly is not on a good run right now. Although Kyle is good, though. He is good. He is okay striking. It's not good. Again, I can't even use the phrase good, but it's okay. It's there. You can see he's working on it. He's 29, so he's about to enter his prime as well. We're in it. 86% takedown defense. That's big in this matchup. Cardio's good. That's big in this matchup because Anders is a little bit of a bully. These are two different body types. Kyle Dawkins is a little like skinny and lanky, and uses range and everything to his advantage. Eric Anders is just a bull. He's jacked, he's stocky, and he comes in with bad intent. His striking's not bad, but we haven't seen a lot of it lately because he's 35. He knows he's going to start to slow down. His cardio is slowing a touch. He is a little bit hittable. He has 75% takedown defense. Dawkins will try to wrestle, so 75% takedown defense is good there. He's definitely fought the better guys. Not even close. He fought a prime Lyoto Machida. He's fought the Iron Turtle, Andre Muniz. Jocko, GM3, Thiago Santos, Roundtree. Like, he has fought the better guys. That's not even Brendan Allen. Um, I don't know, man. My thing is he's at fight ready. I might make an all fight ready parlay in all honesty, because fight ready again they get you ready to wrestle. And Dawkins, I think Anders has the advantage on the feet. If they want to keep it on the feet, I think he wins the fight. But if he wants to take Dawkins down, Dawkins didn't seem to offer anything off of his back, to be 100% honest with you. I know he's really high pedigreed on the ground, but there's a difference between these people that are like Andre Muniz on their ground when you put them on their back and you're scared. We just saw it in Dan Hooker fight against Claudio Puelles. Like, Claudio was asking for him to come down there. That's how good they are on the ground, like on the front, or on top, or on their back. I don't think Chris Dawkins is that guy. I think he's really good on the ground. I think he has really good anaconda chokes. He has really good rear naked chokes. But I don't think he has anything off his back. So if Eric Anders can keep it on the feet, I think he wins. If Eric Anders can get the takedown, I think he wins. Eric Anders is plus 160 or plus 170. Sheer dogger pass. Pick as Eric Anders, bet as Eric Anders. Next fight of the night is a fun one. We have we have Jack Hermanson going up against, do you want me to submit him? Roman Dolidze. We have Hermanson as a minus 170 favorite. Come back on Roman Dolidze plus 150. Over under set at 2.5. I'm sorry, I didn't see the odds on that, as Roman is a short notice replacement. Roman, who his last win was over Phil Hawes, looked phenomenal there. He's very, very, very good on the ground, like world champion on the ground. No one talks about it because he hits decently hard. He's a very, very hard hitter. Low volume, low. He does not throw a lot. When he does, you feel it, but he doesn't do it enough on the feet. 33% takedown defense. That's because he wants to go to the ground. Because he's good on the ground. Like ADDC or ACCD, whatever it is, world champion. Like, he's so good on the ground. He's someone that used to fight at light heavyweight. Has even had a few fights at heavyweight. This fight is at middleweight. So he tries to be a bully at middleweight. And you know what? His one career losses at middleweight, his very first fight there against Trevin Giles. But that was sketchy. I thought he kind of won the fight, to be honest with you. No, neither one of them did anything. But I thought Roman won. I thought he got robbed. His next fight against Staropoli is a career welterweight. So you have someone that used to fight at light heavyweight, now fighting someone that used to fight at welterweight. God, he size bullied him. He held him against the cage, didn't even get the takedown. Just held him there. Didn't hardly throw anything. Just literally bear hugged him for 15 minutes. It was boring, but he just bullied the kid. Kyle Dawkins, who we just talked about, he went out there and knocked him out. Kyle Dawkins has never been knocked out before, and Roman went out there and did it in a minute. Then he goes out against Phil Hawes, breaks the man's leg, basically. Phil Hawes gets up. Roman asks him, do you want to keep fighting? Phil says, hell yeah, I'm not giving up, and then proceeds to just knock him out. Roman's a badass, but his fight IQ is all you'll hear anyone talk about because of the John Allen fight, when he literally grabbed his leg, looked at his coaches in the middle of the fight and said, do you want me to submit him? Like, that's all you're going to hear about. I fuck with Roman. I think Roman's cool, man. I like Roman a lot. But I like Jack. I think Jack is the better fighter in this instance. Jack is the better wrestler, hands down. He's a very, very, very good wrestler. Striking is good. It's so underrated. He doesn't hit particularly hard. That's why it doesn't resonate in your mind. But he just paws at you. He's very good on the feet. He's the better striker. He's the better wrestler. He's very, very, very good on the ground. Is he better than Roman on the ground? I think it's 50-50. It's a wash. I think he'll be able to at least stay safe down there if he wants to take it to the ground, but he can kind of dictate where this fight's going to go. And I think he's a better wrestler and the better striker. So the problem with Jack is he has 7 losses. Okay. Jack Hermanson has a loss to Sean Strickland, which Sean Strickland's a good striker. And very, very good takedown defense. So he's forced to strike with a better striker. So that was concerning. Bad matchup. Marvin Vettori, he had that fight on short notice. Marvin was a short notice replacement, and he had something wrong with his eye in the very first round. Something weird happened with that fight. I'm not going to give him a pass, but it does have an asterisk next to that loss. Jared Cannonier knocked him out. Thiago Santos knocked him out. Cesar Ferreira attacked him out. That's interesting. And then he got tapped out by way back in 2013 and 2012. So you're looking at his UFC losses were to just a better striker in Sean Strickland, who you can't take down. So he got outplayed. But then again, his other losses in Marvin Vettori, which was a weird fight, and Jared Cannonier and Thiago Santos both knocked him out. So is Jack a little chinny? I don't know, because Jared Cannonier and Thiago Santos are two of the hardest hitters. That's all Roman does. Roman's not good on the feet. He just hits extremely hard. So I think Jack's going to wrestle. I think he's going to literally take him down and try to sit on top. But again, Roman's a very, very good jiu-jitsu practitioner. So then I thought, no, he's not. He's going to strike. And then I rewatched the Chris Curtis fight where he just pawed at him, and Jack is not scared to be in a boring fight. He wants to win. He wants the money. He doesn't care. So he could literally jab Roman for 15 minutes, and I think that's what he's going to do. I don't think he's going to fuck around with his guard. I think he's literally going to jab the face off of Roman. Can Roman win? Yeah. Mr. Vlismus is shooting 100%, baby. Since he's been banging Cheyenne, he's never lost. He's undefeated. Mr. Vlismus is undefeated. He is outgunned here. Can he get the job done? He has the tools. A good ground game and power is all you need for Jack Hermanson. But he doesn't throw enough. He hasn't fought the same level of competition. And Jack, the main thing is Jack is not scared to be boring. Jack will jab his face off for 15 minutes. You will hate to watch it, but you will love it when he puts money in your pocket. So the pick is Jack. The bet is Jack. But be wary. Be wary. Next fight of the night is just sheer entertainment. We have Tai Tuivasa plus 165 going up against Sergey Pavlovich at minus 195. Over under set at 1.5 because, of course, over 1.5 is plus 170. Under 1.5 is minus 210. Let's go ahead and start with Tai Tuivasa just because you know what you're going to say. If he dinks him, he sinks him, baby. The dude hits hard. He's not the most physically imposing guy in the world, but he has good striking, great power. Cardio, suspect, but he can go 3 rounds at least. At least it's just a 3-round battle. Wrestling, terrible. Jiu-jitsu, terrible. But he's fighting a striker here, so he's perfectly fine. 29 years old. He's on a huge high. Wins against Derek Lewis, great win. Sakai, good win. Greg Hardy, all right. Harry Hunsucker, Stefan Struve, it is what it is. So, I mean, but you look at his losses. Blue's not terrible. Junior Dos Anjos, former champ. Sergey Spivak, it might fight for a title soon. So he's only lost Cyril Gahn. He's only lost a very, very good guy. So what do you consider Sergey Pavlovich? A striker. He's a big Russian striker. He has high volume. He hits extremely hard. His wins are a little suspect as well. Derek Lewis, they share the win there. But that one was weird. Derek face planted and popped right back up, and the ref jumped in, and Derek was fine. So it's kind of a weird. I understand that if Derek face plants, I understand the ref jumping in. It was just the timing of it was weird, and the fact that he face planted but was still conscious. It was weird. Shamil, he didn't look the greatest in that fight before he got the knockout, but they're old training partners, and he didn't fight for like 3 years before then. So I'll cut him some slack. Maurice Green is ass. So is Goim's ass, and Elsar Overeem gave him a vet lesson. So he really hasn't beaten anyone outside of Derek Lewis, and that one was kind of sketchy. But he's only has one loss. His cardio is also unproven, so we don't know if he can go 3 rounds, to be honest with you. I think they both have cardio issues, and they both hit extremely hard. Pavlovich will have an 11-inch reach advantage. That's insane. And he likes to go forward a ton. So I would say the pick is Pavlovich. I think he's going to get the job done, to be honest with you. I feel 110% more comfortable in the under because these two are swinging leather until one goes out. That's what they both did against Derek Lewis. They were going to swing until someone went out. And in both their cases, Derek Lewis is the one that went out. But now they're fighting each other, and someone's got to go out. So the pick is Sergey, but the bet is the under. Either one of these men can drop. And then that takes us to the next fight of the night. We have Mateus Nicolau at minus 365 going up against Matt Danger Snell plus 300. Over under set at 2.5. Over 2.5 is minus 125. Under 2.5 minus 105. Here's the deal. This is heart over mind. I want Matt Danger Snell to win. I fuck with Matt Snell. I think he's so fun. I think he is the flyweight Michael Chandler. Like, God, he may not win, but he's going to make it exciting no matter what. He's a very good striker. He has really good jujitsu. His wrestling, he doesn't like to wrestle. So his jiu-jitsu really goes, it's kind of null and void because he never wrestled. He did shoot a takedown against Sumanderji, which was nice, and he got on top and controlled him the whole round. So that was nice to see. But yeah, he's a good jiu-jitsu practitioner, good striker, fast. Some of the fastest combinations I've ever seen. His hands are fast. 4-inch reach advantage here. Loves to move forward. Everything great. No chin. He's a little chinny. Is the chin getting better? I don't know if your chin can get better. I mean, his last few fights, Sumanderji, we all know about that fight. We'll get into it. Brandon Royval, he dropped Royval actually and then got tapped out. Bontarine, he survived. He looked fine. Tyson Nam is a power puncher. His chin held up, but Pantoja put him out. He's not exactly a power puncher. Hector Sandoval, knockout. Rob Font, knockout. Oh, God. All of his losses. He gets finished all the time. He got guillotined. Oh, God. How many losses does he have again? He has 8 losses, 7 losses, and 6 of them are by finish. Oh, boy. 5 of them by knockout. That's not good. Yeah, he gets knocked out a ton, and you can submit him. But he's so fun to watch when it's going on, man. And of course, that last fight against Sumanderji might be comeback of the year, where he was literally out on his feet 4 times, and then somehow rocked Sue, and then got a takedown and just finished him on the ground. That was one of the most exciting fights I ever saw, mainly because I had Matt Schnell at plus 250. What do we have now? Matt Schnell at plus 300. Jesus. I'm gonna have to bat Matt Schnell, even though I think Mateus Nicolau wins. I think Mateus Nicolau is good striking. I think he's better on the ground. I think he's a good jiu-jitsu practitioner. My thing with him is you can back him up a little bit because he wants to counter strike. That's all he wants to do. His schedule's pretty good too. He beat Manel Kopp in a stand-up competition. That's not easy to do. I thought Kopp won, but I'm not screaming robbery. The David Dvorak fight, his last fight, we saw live in Columbus, and he looked awful. He didn't look good. The problem was David Dvorak wasn't throwing anything, so you can't counter anything if no one's throwing. Matt's going to throw all right. Matt is going to throw. He did rock David at one point, so that's concerning. He does have a little bit of, he has a little pep in his punches. I mean, he's not knocking out everyone, but he can put your lights out. So I don't know, man. I know Matt's going to pressure him and he's going to throw. And all Nicolau wants to do is counter. And Matt has a shady chin. I envision Matt getting knocked out over and over and over. But goddamn, Matt's going to fight for my money and he's plus 300. The pick is Nicolau, unequivocally, not even a question. The bet, dude, money keeps coming in on Nicolau. Schnell's number is getting higher. Schnell is good. Schnell is a good fighter. He just has no chin. Can his chin hold up? Why not? Pick is going to be Nicolau. Bet's going to be Schnell. I'm betting with my heart a little bit here, but my mind is telling me plus 300 is value. So pick Nicolau, bet Schnell. Next one can be quick because RDA is going to absolutely kill Brian Barberina. Rafael Dos Anjos minus 540. Brian Barberina plus 420. Over under set at 2.5. Over 2.5 is minus 195. Under 2.5 plus 160. Let's start with RDA. His very last fight, he fought Rafael Fiziev, got knocked out in the 5th round, where he looked okay, just a little outgunned. He has really good striking. He has really good wrestling. He has really good jiu-jitsu. He's fought really good guys. He's a former champion. He has really good cardio. He loves to move forward. He does everything right. He has 2 issues. One, he's 38. That's the biggest one. He's usually pretty durable, and you see his last one was by knockout. Other problem, he's a career 155-pounder. He fucked around at 170 for a little bit, got some good wins. I mean, he beat Kevin Lee. That's a good win. Robbie Lawler at that time was all right. Went out there and dominated Neil Magny at 170. Good win. Tariq Safardine, good win. All right win. His only losses, look at this. His only losses at 170, Colby Covington, probably the number 2 guy in the world. Kamaru Usman, probably the number 1 guy in the world. Leon Edwards, the current champion. Michael Chiesa, size bully. Michael Chiesa is huge. Michael Chiesa is a top 10 guy. So he's lost to a top 10 guy, the current and former champ, and the former interim champ. That's who he lost to at 170. He's a 155-pounder, but he seems to hold his own at 170. He's just 38 years old, man, and he's coming off of a knockout. It scares me. But the good news is he's fighting Brian Barberina. Brian Barberina, no power. So his 38-year-old chin doesn't concern me as much when he's fighting this guy. Brian Barberina is the oldest 33-year-old you'll ever meet in your life. His body is giving up on him. He has back issues. He retired and unretired. He has not good striking, it's active. That's what I'll call it. The dude throws a ton, super high volume. But although he's a 2-inch reach advantage, he has 55% takedown defense. RDA can wrestle his ass off if he wants to. RDA can take down Brian Barberina at will. Whenever he sees fit, he can. Could RDA win on the feet? Yes. Can RDA take him down and just last? Yes. Can RDA take him down and submit Brian? Yes. RDA is the better fighter everywhere. He's 38 and chinny, but Brian, when's the last time Brian got a knockout? Obviously, had a standing TKO over Robbie Lawler. That was a weird one. Outside of that Robbie fight where he beat up a 40-year-old, he had to split the mat. When's his last knockout? Knees and punches in 2017. Jesus, he hasn't knocked anyone out in 5 years. Eesh. Yeah. If you knee anyone, you're going to put him out. So, yeah, he is not a knockout artist by any means, doesn't carry a ton of power, so that should be good for RDA. The pick is going to be RDA. The bet's going to be RDA. He'll kill him. Is it going to take the over or the under? Under's plus money at plus 160. I'm going to take a peek at it. I think he can finish him. I think he can tap out Barberina, too. Can Barberina be submitted? Has he ever been submitted? I don't see one. There's a first for everything, baby. Pick his RDA. Bet it's probably RDA goes a distance, but he might get a submission. I think he's going to wrestle. All right, then that takes us to the main event of the evening, and one where I made some mistakes. I had Kevin Holland at minus 140, Stephen Thompson at plus 120. Over under set at 4.5. Over 4.5 is plus 135. Under 4.5 minus 165. Let's start with my mistake, Stephen Thompson. I like Stephen Thompson here. I bet Stephen Thompson is a live dog. I think Stephen Thompson is great striking. Not good, great striking. I think Stephen Thompson is good cardio. I think Stephen Thompson can't wrestle, but that's okay because neither can Kevin Holland. I think Stephen has sneaky good power, but it's not necessarily always coming out. My problem with him is that he's 39. That's sketchy, but look at his losses. Bilal Muhammad's not bad, and he went out and wrestled him. Gilbert Burns, not bad, went out and wrestled him. Darren Till screwed him. He got screwed. Anthony Pettis put his lights up, but that's because Anthony Pettis is the GOAT. It was a little fluky, honestly. He jumped off the cage with the Superman punch off the cage. No one saw that coming. But Pettis, we all know, is my favorite fighter. So, you lose to the GOAT, you lose to the GOAT. Tyron Woodley was a champ at the time. He lost to him. It is what it is. And Matt Brown was able to wrestle him. So you beat Stephen Thompson with either being the GOAT or wrestling him. That's how you beat this guy. His karate is insane. He's hard to hit. He hits extremely hard. He's extremely elusive. He has good cardio. He beat the shit out of Jeff Neal just like a year ago. So let's not act like he's old and washed. Jeff Neal's a phenomenal striker. Jeff Neal's pretty similar to Kevin Holland. My issue is I think Steven wins. I think Steven at dog money is perfect. I bet it at plus 110. I accidentally clicked the button again because I like the over 4.5 at plus money. I like the over a lot. I like Steven a lot. I accidentally bet Steven twice. And now Steven is plus 140 when I bet it today. So I might have accidentally made a good decision. I might have accidentally fucked up. But I do like the over and I do like Steven. Don't get me wrong. I do like Kevin Holland. I think Kevin Holland is really good striking. I think Kevin Holland is sneaky good jiu-jitsu, but he can't wrestle. So it doesn't matter. He's not going to take Steven down and tap him out. Can't wrestle. His cardio, I've seen it good and I've seen it bad. I don't know if it's good or bad. 5 rounds, I've never seen Kevin Holland, so I'm going to give advantage Wonder Boy. 2-inch reach advantage, Kevin, big. Can Kevin hit hard? Absolutely. These two are friends. And because they're so buddy-buddy, I don't think they're going to wrestle at all. I think both of them want to strike. They're both excited to fight a striker. And I think they're going to go out there and have a 25-minute friendly kickboxing exchange, meaning I love the over. I think there's going to be 25 minutes of sparring, and Stephen Thompson is a lot more technical than Kevin Holland. Stephen Thompson has fought a lot better competition than Kevin Holland. Stephen Thompson has a lot better cardio than Kevin Holland. Stephen Thompson is plus money. So the pick is Stephen Thompson, the bet is Stephen Thompson, and the over. And that is UFC Fight Night Orlando. Again, they're in front of a crowd. It'll be fun. Make sure you give this video a like, hit that subscribe button, give a follow over on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, or TikTok. 1 week at a time. We are taking over 1 week at a time. We're making money, baby. Let's get it.